Now friends, we are in the last quarter of our discussion wherein we are going to deal with interesting applications. In quantum mechanics, we have exercised this application that a free electron cannot absorb a photon. Now here I want to mention that if you want to express perplex momentum of photon, we are going to use a letter K, and that K is equal to E by C E0 plus E E1. The ordered pair is E upon C and P. Now, when we are interested in writing momentum for photon, we have to use the basic equations E equal to h nu, that is energy of the photon, and P is h nu by C. The energy E equal to h nu can be written as h cross omega or h cross k C, where small k is wave number omega upon C. Momentum h nu upon C can be expressed as h lambda or h cross k. You can use any representation, that is not going to matter. I am using the basic notation here. So K as in equation 88 appears as h nu upon C E0 plus h nu upon C E1. So here we have to follow the definition E by C. So h nu is replacing this E and P is h nu by C. So we have ordered pair identical quantities, and obviously the magnitude of K will be 0. However, if you like to write matrix representation using h cross K, this being identical, it will be h cross K, h cross K, h cross K, h cross K. So determinant of this matrix will be 0. The perplex momentum for free electron at rest, P rest, is m0 gamma C E0 plus m0 gamma V E1. As we are considering the free electron at rest, gamma will be 1, and this electron being in the state of rest, this velocity V will be 0. Therefore, it will be equal to m0 C E0 plus 0 E1. So for free electron at rest, the perplex momentum will be ordered pair m0c 0. You can look at the matrix representation of the same. This is because the electron being at rest, V is equal to 0. Our hypothesis is a free electron absorbs photon, and we will lead to the contradiction. Therefore, we will be concluding that a free electron cannot absorb photon. That's the basic thing. So the perplex momentum of photon now we have, as the first equation goes, K equal to so and so. Whereas the perplex momentum for free electron at rest is this one. Here gamma is 1. This is the schematic diagram to express what is happening here. When the photon is absorbed by the electron, as we claim as a hypothesis, we are left with a moving electron. And now I am interested in writing the perplex momentum for moving electron. Obviously, for moving electron, the perplex momentum will be m0 gamma C, m0 gamma V ordered pair. So here we have the conservation equation for perplex momentum as appearing in equation 19, which can be substituted with the matrix form, and once you work out the matrix form, you can consider mod of that or length of that, and you can compare the two quantities which are yield of conservation of perplex momentum, and we encounter with the equation 2 times h nu m0c equal to 0. Here h is a Planck's constant having non-zero value. We have considered radiation having some non-zero value. m0 is rest mass of electron, which is non-zero. c is velocity of light. So this quantity can never be zero, which means that the hypothesis that we have considered must be wrong, and we should conclude that a free electron cannot absorb photon. Now here we shall consider the Berkeley collider, wherein a fast moving proton is bombarded on a rest proton and the nuclear reaction leads to 4 protons at rest. Question is, what is the energy of the incident proton? In other words, we can ask the question, what should be the velocity of the incident proton with which it should collide with the rest proton, so that as a result we can obtain 4 protons at rest. In this problem you can consider a laboratory frame of reference in which you can consider 2 protons approaching each other with opposite velocity, say 1 by 2v and minus 1 by 2v, and we have laboratory frame at rest, and after collision we have 4 protons in the state of rest in the laboratory frame. So the incident proton P1 is with energy E by C E0 plus P E1, and the rest proton is with energy P2 equal to M0 C E0 plus 0 times E1. The result of the reaction is 4 protons at rest will have P3 perplex momentum, which is 4m0c E0 plus 0 E1. So the conservation equation will be P1 plus P2 equal to P3, and if we consider mod of that, it will be mod of P1 plus P2 equal to mod of P3 as appearing in equation number 95. So finding the mod of or determinant of equation 95 and simplifying that, we obtain E is equal to 7m0c square. That is, we need to bombard a proton with energy 7 times the rest energy of a proton to result into 4 protons at rest. So one can make out calculations in terms of velocity using 97 equation. Now we are in position to discuss quantum Doppler effect, wherein we incident a photon on electron at rest, and here as a result we obtain a moving electron and scattered photon. In the earlier application we have talked about complete absorption of incident photon. Here we are talking about the partial absorption of incident photon. Now the usual things that we have is electron at rest and we have incident photon causing resultant 2 particles, moving electron and scattered photon. So the equation 98 represents the initial particles involved in the reaction, where we have to impose gamma equal to 1 because electron is at rest, means velocity is 0. After the interaction we have P dash, that is momentum of the scattered electron and momentum of scattered photon, written in equation 99. The obvious perplex momentum conservation equation leads us to P plus K equal to P dash plus K dash, that is perplex momentum of all elements before interaction is equal to perplex momentum after interaction, and we are interested in finding the mod of the number so that we can lead to some concluding factor. After substituting 98 and 99 into equation 100, we obtained equation 101, and considering magnitude of equation 101, we can obtain that nu is equal to nu dash times gamma into 1 minus beta, or over simplification we can obtain lambda dash equal to lambda into under root of 1 minus beta upon 1 plus beta as appearing in equation number 103. This is what is known as quantum Doppler effect. At the end I have given reference to this equation which is found by one of the authors. Now the last and the foremost application that we are going to discuss is Quantum's effect using the quantities in perplex number form in special relativity. The incident photon is allowed to interact with free electron at rest so that the electron recoils at an angle theta and the photon is scattered at an angle phi. We have resolved the components of these, and here we are going to consider the three-dimensional version of the equation that we are dealing in perplex numbers, unlike in the earlier application of quantum Doppler effect. So here in 3 dimension, the null vector is represented by 0 bar equal to 0 I cap plus 0 j cap plus 0 k cap for electron at rest. The Lorentz factor for rest electron is 1. The momentum for photon is now k bar equal to h nu upon c along x-axis and 0 component in rest of the 2 directions. So with this notation we can write perplex momentum of particles before collision as appearing in equation 104. This 0 is not a simple 0, it is a 0 bar expressed by a vector and k bar expressed by this vector. After scattering, we can consider the recoil electron p bar as p cos theta I cap plus p sin theta j cap plus 0 k cap. Nothing is occurring in the third direction, where momentum small p is relativistic momentum which is equal to m0 gamma v, and the scattered photon k dash is h nu dash upon c cos theta I cap plus sin theta j cap. So p dash and k dash in the matrix version will appear as written in equation 105. Here you can have a look at this basic diagram which we have encountered in quantum mechanics, wherein we are considering recoil electron having 2 components of momentum, p cos theta along this direction and p sin theta in this direction. Similarly, the scattered photon will be E equal to h nu dash, and this will be h nu dash c cos phi is along this direction, and the perpendicular component will be h nu dash upon c sin. Now we are exercising perplex momentum conservation as equation 106. That on simplification offers equation 107. Here I want to mention that p dot p will be p square and k minus k dash dot k minus k dash will be k square plus k dash square minus 2kk dash. For these obvious substitutions, where k dot k dash on simplification offers h nu by c, h nu dash by c cos of phi, and k square is h nu by c whole square, and k dash square is h nu dash upon c whole square. So after merging all equations together, we can obtain 108, which is the equation for Compton shift delta lambda equal to lambda dash minus lambda equal to h upon m0c into bracket 1 minus cos of phi. Now friends, we are in conclusion section. Here we are attempting some conclusions. The time-space warp suggested by Albert Einstein in 1905 has been configured in the present work, but as real part and imaginary part in perplex number form This research confirms that the space-time warp looks like the one suggested in Rindler space. Interestingly, it partially resembles with space-time warp suggested in Schwarzschild radius of black hole. The present work advocates apt use of perplex numbers for efficient and easy handling. This approach smoothly sells like 4-vector treatment, but offers a few more advantages. It further possesses potential of exploring real number problems in spatial relativity using perplex numbers. The success of the perplex number exploration justifies its hypothesis that time is real and space is imaginary in the perplex plane. As the perplex number exploration fairly explains all consequences of spatial relativity, and a few successful handling of applications justifies its hypothesis that time is real and space is imaginary on the perplex scale. This work has a future scope. One can further explore some more real problems of special relativity which are all established using perplex numbers, and I hope some brighter future to this topic. I am very thankful to all for patiently listening to this presentation. Here we are going through some important references which I have highlighted. One of that is by Albert Einstein. Then another is Prezek's book on advanced engineering mathematics. One most important reference that I am exploring every now and then is the Russian author's approach to special relativity, wonderfully presented by Landau and Lifshitz in their book, The Classical Theory of Fields. The Rindler space research paper published in 1966 also I have referred. For black hole comparison, I have referred Hawking's paper. For Compton effect, I have referred his own paper of 1923, which is one of the famous landmark paper in the realm of quantum mechanics, and some minor references are also presented. I am very much thankful to all of you for your patient listening.